What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the pod. We're doing a low maintenance episode today. Dallas didn't feel like putting on makeup or doing her hair. My outfit is absolutely 100% in theme. She's wearing that Grinch onesie because y'all know what time it is. I also have my little Christmas tree in here as my side piece because obviously it's December, y'all. We have reached holiday time. So I'm actually here. Shablam, surprise, another Universal episode. This time we're really just gonna kind of talk about like the general what it is like to work at Universal Studios, like through the year, because it's some absolute horse shit. Y'all ain't ready for this to actually understand how seasonal work really goes down. I want to talk about my favorite seasons at Universal. We could have done an HHN episode, and I will touch on HHN briefly, but it's mostly Grinchmas time. Grinchmas is my favorite part of the year, y'all. It's literally not even like actual Christmas. It's Grinchmas. Like, this is what gets me into the spirit every year is the fucking Grinch, dude. Because I feel that guy, you know? He was just so annoyed with everybody and said, I don't want to be a part of this fuckery. Y'all a bunch of bullies. I'm out of here. He moved up into the mountains with his dog. Like, if that ain't fucking relatable, bitch, I don't know what is. So, last episode about Universal, I told you guys a little bit about the interview process. I was reminded by my wonderful friend Rocio that the third thing was a math test. That absolutely sounds familiar. I was just like, I really could not put my fucking finger on it. I could not figure it out to save my life. I even asked my mom, but her memory is also not awesome. So we both just kind of struggled and we're like, well, we know there was a third one. Apparently it was a math test. Pretty good at math, so that I probably did really well on that. I have no recollection whatsoever, though. So, you know, it's up in the air. It really could be anybody else's guess is as good as mine. But when you apply to work at Universal Studios, the time of the year really matters. So, fortunately for me, my mom had already worked there, right? So I kind of knew a little bit about what the tea was and kind of how things went down. So I knew the best time to apply. Heads up, anybody wants to fucking apply to that place in the future. The best time to apply is March to April. Because everything about working in a theme park is seasonal related, right? When are the times that people are attending theme park? You're going to get summer, you're going to get the HHN and the Grinchmas, and a little bit of spring, like when people are graduating. You know, they have grad nights, spring break, shit like that. So, like, people really do turn up to the parks and turn up at the park to Jesus fucking Christ. But if you apply in like March, April, you know, you get in, you start, you do your training, and then you'll work that entire summer season. Now, for people who don't know anybody who worked at Universal, it comes as much of a shock when August, September rolls around and you have 0 hours a week. And at Universal, you can call in or put yourself on call for whatever amount of time you need, however many days you need. You just call once a week and say, these are the days and times I'm available. Please give me shifts. And hopefully they call you and give you a shift. Now, they will call you and give you fucking 45 minutes and be like, hey, can you be here? Now, for some people who live local, okay, maybe you could do that. I always lived far as fuck. So that was not usually an option for me. I'm like, yo, if they want me there, I could be there an hour and a half. And that was just so I could get there. I could park. I could go to wardrobe. I could get changed. And then I could go down and chill in my little smoking area for a bit. Now, you go from that little lull in between summer and HHN right into HHN. Now, a lot of the new employees don't realize. They think that they want to work the horror night shifts. Oh, you absolutely do not want to work the horror night shifts. Do you know what it's like to clock in at 8 p.m. and get off at 4 o'clock in the morning when you're not used to that type of schedule? Because it's some absolute Horseshit. I really don't understand how people just like do that shit on the regular. Props to you if you're like a graveyard type of bitch, because that could never be me. Once I became a lead at like the end of my Universal career, you had to do a certain amount of fucking HHN shifts. And I did offer up my soul for as many HHN shifts as they wanted to give me, because I was making wheels and deals with my managers to do things that benefited me. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. We'll get to the Universal chicanery in a while. But after HHN, you do get just a very, very small break in November, because it's still pretty busy for Thanksgiving. You even get a lot of people like on Veterans Day. Like, it is random days, but if you're all the way at the bottom of that roster, you're not getting scheduled for shit. Just hope that the people who've been here for a million years have sick hours saved up, because you know they ass is going to call out, or they can afford to get points. Here's another thing that Universal does. So everywhere that you work inside the park is union, right? Now, California in particular is an at-will state. So places can really just fire you for no reason at all. Just completely be like, you know what? Goodbye. Because you also have that same right as an employee. 2 weeks is not necessary, everybody, just so you know. That is a courtesy to give your place of work time to find your replacement, right? Now, you don't owe that to them just as much as they don't owe that to you. So don't let anybody scam you into thinking you need to give it 2 weeks. If you need to peace out because your new opportunity is starting, just get the fuck out of there, bitch. Say sayonara and take it for what it is. But anyways, because everywhere at Universal is union, they have to have a reason to fire you, right? So they have a whole ass point system. They have one for attendance, and they have one for variance if you do any kind of cash handling. And all of the breakdowns are different. You know, you're missing this much cash, you get this many points. You know, you have to call out 2 hours before your shift to either apply your sick points or not get points if you have sick hours. That's what I'm going to say, sick hours. If you apply your sick hours, then you don't get points. But if you ain't got any sick hours, you rack up points depending on how you call out, how far ahead in advance you call out, if you're late at all. There are so many different things that like come into any kind of point system at Universal. So they really could just kind of chalk shit up just randomly and be like, oh, well, you clocked late because there was some kind of issue with the clocking system and everybody clocked late that day. But are you going to be able to prove that? Do you have receipts? So you better hope that nobody is on your ass, because if they have any reason to let go of you, they will fucking do it. Oh, in a fucking heartbeat and a snap. I personally believe that like it is actually kind of my fault. I did kind of have some responsibility in getting one of my old friends fired from the park. He had worked there for quite a long time, and I really do think that they were trying to come after him after something, and they really just needed a reason. But we went to go hang out in the park for a day, and we had drinks, because who the fuck doesn't have drinks at Universal Studios? Ridiculous. But we had a couple of drinks. We weren't belligerent. We didn't get crazy. We weren't sloppy. We weren't all over the place. And then, like, literally the next day that he went into work, they fucking called him up to HR on the 5th floor of the 5511, and they fucking fired his ass. I still do actually feel bad about that, because, like I said, I do take credit, and I say that that's part of my fault because I was there. I was the one that was like, hey, let's get drinks, you know? Like, because if I have not mentioned it already, my literal favorite pastime is being drunk at Universal Studios. I'm a fucking professional at it. Any of my friends who have been with me can either attest to that or tell you funny stories about my hair almost getting sucked up on the escalators. I have lots of scars and stuff on my legs from just like falling down. If you ever take the studio tour with me and we've been drinking, we're not paying attention to what the guide says. It is now Dallas's studio tour, and she is performing for the entire car that she is in. So buckle up, kids. I am the best and worst person to get drunk with. If you want to experience it, hit me up. Let's have a time. But anyways, back to the fucking point system. So if they had a reason to get you out, they would. But in the flip of that, just like with literally anything else, these managers could literally make anything that they wanted to happen with the snap of a finger, with a simple word. It really was just absolutely 100% at their discretion. Who were they willing to help out? Because you bet your ass when I needed my points to come down, for some reason, we found a way that, like, it made sense as to why, oh, this point should be excused here and this point should be excused here. And then you would hear of people who, because for a full-time employee, we won't even worry about part-time. For a full-time employee, you could have up to 15 points in attendance and variance, because they were two separate things, right? You would hear about people having like 40, 50 points, and you're like, bruh, how are you not getting flagged? How are you not getting called up? How are you not getting fired? How are you still turning up to your shift, coming to the park on your days off? Like, make it make sense. And it never did. It never did. But that's when the favorites came in. And this is why they did not like people like me and my mom, because even if we were friends and even if we were kicking it, you did not get preferential treatment. You got treated just the same as everybody else, ho. That's why a lot of people were mad once I became a lead. We'll get into that in another episode. But back to after November, then you get into Grinchmas season. Ooh, Grinchmas is the best time. It really brings the best vibes. If you're really not a Christmassy person, it kind of just gives you a little bit of that nostalgia, I feel, because like everybody watched The Grinch when they were a kid, and the performances are so fun. The tree lighting is fun. If you're not just like actively a hater, it is something that should bring you some semblance of joy. And if it doesn't, there really is something wrong with you. I don't know, because I'm even a hater. The Grinch is literally a hater, and I still go and I have a fun time, and it's great. So I don't know, man. I do also really like all the light shows that they introduced in the Wizarding World for all of the holidays. Summer, HHM, the Christmas one. Every single time I watched each first one, I cried because I'm a fucking nerd and I'm weird. But the Christmas one really got me because I'm a huge Fred and George Weasley fan. And a lot of that show is kind of like Weasley twin themed. And it's just so beautiful. And there's something about just like being peaceful at the holidays and just having a good time. Because fuck family. I don't do that over here. I like my parents, live with one of my grandmas. And that's basically the extent. So if you're in my family and you watch the podcast and you're offended, call my fucking mom about it. I don't know what to tell you. But holidays are what you make of them. And it was the same thing with working at Universal during these times. If you just came into work ready to have a bad fucking day, you were absolutely gonna have a bad fucking day. The first thing someone did that was annoying, just gonna piss you off, and then you're gonna talk about it for the rest of the day. Girl, how about when somebody's being absolutely ridiculous, you just think about how ridiculous they're being. It's fucking funny. Why do we take so much shit at work so personally? I'm not saying when people literally come after you and call you stupid or say you're incompetent or literally whatever. I don't care about any of that. I'm talking about just like the general. It goes back to what I said a couple episodes ago. Like, guys, nobody wants to fucking show up for work, dude. Nobody wants to be doing any of this shit. But we got to. We got bills to pay. We have things to do. We got stuff to take care of. So, wake up and just try to fucking deal with each day as it comes. Laugh at these clowns. Who gives a shit? Do you make the rules? You making your $16, $18, $21 an hour? Girl, you ain't getting paid to make these choices and these decisions. Give them the refund. Is it coming out of your pocket? Why are we fighting? Do they want a new one because their stupid one is broken? Okay, put it in the damage bin. This multi-billion-dollar company is not going to miss it. They're going to stress you and tell you that all of this shrink and all of this loss is the world's biggest of deals and you need to pay attention. Yada, 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 whatever. Girl, Trust and believe, it is really not that big of a deal. At the end of the day, guess what? The studios are still turning out movies. They're still employing people. People are still coming to their fucking theme parks. They're not missing out. They really aren't, I promise. Now, after Grinchmas is the biggest disappointment as a Universal employee that you could ever possibly experience when you are low on the roster. Between January and April, remember I said the time to apply was March, April. January to fucking April, bitch. Dead island. Good luck getting one fucking 6-hour shift in a week. You best have another job lined up because you ain't getting shit, girl. Unless you are literally stalking outside the Walters gate and you are chiming in every 30 seconds to team services being like, do you have a shift? 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 You ain't getting one, dude. It's literally just not happening. I cannot tell you how many hours I spent just waiting around for a fucking phone call and didn't do a goddamn thing. And then it was always, of course, on the one day I decide, you know what? I haven't been getting calls. Nobody's been calling me for shit. I'm just going to go do a thing. You go to do the thing, and while you're in the middle of it, these motherfuckers at team services call you. Are you joking? Are you joking? That's okay. I loved it, though, when other people that I had started to work with, like in Potter and Carnival, literally wherever, would start to go work for the team services, and they would be the ones calling me, being like, hi, I have a shift available. Because we never answered those phone calls. Not that I should necessarily be putting it on the internet. I don't know. I don't really care. If it started in 818-622, you knew it was coming from Universal. That was the like Universal starting numbers. You was not answering that phone call, bitch. You were waiting for it to go so you could see what the shift was, where the shift was, and if you even wanted to accept it, if it was worth your time. Because I don't know how many times once I moved into Potter, they called me for a shift in regular retail, and they're like, can you work at Jurassic Outfitters from 11 to 7, a mid shift on the lower lot? You can go fuck yourself, bitch. I ain't showing up for that. Absolutely not. I will say, there was this weird, like, Potter hierarchy. I don't know where the fuck we got off acting the way that we did, but, like, we all felt like we were better than everybody in the park for some reason. I don't know. We were the newest area. I really couldn't tell you. But, like, we acted like we were better than everybody else and we were too good for them. So, like, when they would call for outside shifts, we would be like, no. Potter or nothing. Excuse me. I don't know why we're doing this. You're calling me with these peasant phone calls. You got through my publicist? Excuse me. Screen this. You know what I mean? Like, we weren't doing all of that. Maybe it was just me and I'm a fucking cunt. I couldn't tell you, but I definitely knew a couple of other people who was acting the way that I was acting. And it was a great time. I'm just saying. So, if you do ever want to work in a theme park, you guys, think about the fact that it's literally fucking seasonal, and it's not like Walmart seasonal, you know, where they're like, oh, we got to keep you on and get you a couple shifts a week because you applied and you work here, and that's just the tea. Nope. They are not obligated to give you shit. You will not get shit. You will literally be the gum on the bottom of somebody's shoe for like 2 years. And hopefully enough people above you will quit because they are sick of the bullshit. And then you start getting shifts. They also have this wonderful, stupid thing called shift bids. It really felt like a farce that they let everybody do it. So the point of a shift bid was it would be a block of shifts at a certain shop, at a certain location, for set hours. Heavy on the fucking air quotes on set hours, dude, because they could literally, if you could say it was a 10 to 6 shift, and they would give you like 8 to 2. Well, it was close. It was within the parameters, and they would make some bullshit. So the way that the shift bids works is it was all by seniority, and they only had like, I don't know, maybe I want to say 7 to 10 shifts for like the bigger shops, and then all of the smaller shops and places would have like maybe 4 or 5. So unless you were in like the top 40 on each department or each area's roster, you were not getting a fucking shift bid, ho. Unless it was literally something that absolutely nobody wanted and you just got lucky. But otherwise, you were not getting that fucking shift in. It was ridiculous that they would put out these packets and tell people to put them in, and they would put such a pressure to like make sure everybody knew what was happening, and you could go to the shift bid meeting and see like what was going on. Girl, you're giving people a lot of false hope and telling them a bunch of stupid ass information for literally fucking nothing. Which kind of just like goes along with the theme of working at Universal Studios. Everything about that place is just fucking convoluted. They just talk in circles. Everything is just ridiculous, and we all need to calm down about it. I don't know how many times I can talk about perspective, y'all. But I really wish people would put things into consideration before they just blindly went into all kinds of shit. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't have also applied at Universal Studios if my mom didn't work there, but because I did want to work in Potter. But the fact that she already worked there and I kind of knew the inner workings already, and she had already like made a couple of steps and gotten up to a certain position, like it made sense for me to go in because I already had information. I'm not the type of person that just like goes into something blind. It's really hard for me to enter into any kind of situation where I am actually like 100% brand new at the situation with 100% uncertainty, because I fucking hate that shit. I really do. It's the worst kind of thing for me. So I'm not saying I wouldn't have gone to work there if she wasn't already there, but that was a huge part of it. And having that insight was so important, because if I would have rolled around to like that January section and lived somewhere where I was absolutely 100% money dependent at that time, I would have been fucked for 3 months on any kind of payment for anything, unless I hopefully maybe picked up a singular shift a week. Especially because when I first started, I was working in Carnival, and Carnival is so much smaller than a lot of these other sections and areas and a lot of the retail in the park, because they have the Simpsons area and the Super Silly area, and they only need a couple of people to work those games each day. They don't need a whole ton of people. So if I hadn't known that I was going into like a 3-month period of maybe not getting shifts, because the first year when I was in Carnival, I did not get, I think, a singular shift during that January to March period until spring break started happening and they needed a couple more people. I didn't get a single shift. I would have been so fucked. And it is so crazy that people just go and work there and have no goddamn idea. And they don't tell you that shit in training. They don't tell you the real tea in training. I understand, obviously, they're not supposed to. Trainers go through training too, and they're supposed to follow certain guidelines. But you're also able to, like, make it your own a little bit. I know somebody who, that when he was fucking training people, he would literally tell them to, like, hide their AirPods in their hair so that they could listen to their AirPods on the sales floor and out in the park. You're telling people that shit in training, but you're not telling them they could go 3 months without a fucking shift? Oh my lord. Like, that is the craziest thing to me. And that was why I thought it was crazy that they let me be a lead, because I was like, you guys know how I talk to people, right? Like, I tell them straight what the fuck is up. And once again, that was a big problem of when I actually did become a lead and why people didn't like me. We'll get into it in another episode, because the Potter episode is a whole thing. Potter is its whole thing in and of itself. Jesus fucking Christ. That was obviously the place where I spent the biggest chunk of my time while I was at Universal, so obviously I have the most experience and things there. But I really don't think I could ever just like only touch on a couple of things. It's gonna be a whole long ass episode, you guys. But favorite rides at Universal. I really enjoy the studio tour. The Mummy is the closest thing to an actual roller coaster that Universal has, and I prefer a roller coaster to like a beep 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 ride. I like going to Universal with people who have like been there a ton of times and they're like not feeling pressure to go on rides and do this and do that. And they gotta see this and go here, because I'm really just trying to chill. Once again, we roll back to being drunk at Universal Studios. Like, I just want to like get a couple of cocktails, walk around, maybe see a show, do a couple of rides, say hey to some people, people watch. You know, that's the fun thing to do. Uh, some of my favorite places to eat at Universal Studios. I really like the Cocina. That's like right outside the Universal Plaza. They got some bomb ass chili cheese fries. I have actually never tried like a theme park turkey leg, and I've always wanted to, but I've heard the Universal one is not the best, and I should get one at Disneyland. So like, I don't know. Um, I also, me and Kason have an absolute obsession with Cletus's chicken, and I know that it has changed significantly over the years. Like, if anybody remembers the barbecue sauce that they had back in the day, that was like house made barbecue sauce that we actually made in the fucking kitchens. That shit was so good, you guys. Now they have, I think it's like Bullseye brand, and it's fine, but it's not the jam. It's all we had back in the day. Um, And I know everybody used to fucking talk shit about Take Five, which is the employee cafeteria, and how they would get sick there all the time. But the only time I ever said that I got sick at Take Five was when I wanted to go home early. And I think that was honestly like the biggest inside joke at Universal. People were really just pretending to get sick there, like everybody else was getting sick there, so that we could go home early or something. I never got sick. And I ate all kinds of shit up in there. Like, maybe I just don't have as sensitive as a stomach as everybody else, but I also have a pretty sensitive fucking stomach. So, I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Sound off in the comments if you want to admit to your fucking bullshit or what. Or just send me a direct message. I don't have to air your laundry, but just like tell me the tea, because I don't know what was going on. They also used to have a fucking smoking patio and employee dining on the lower lot. I don't know if they still have dino dining, but I know you can't smoke out there because they opened up that patio to guests. They also took away the smoking areas, period, are gone. After the pandemic, they took away the one that was by Super Silly. But when they took away the one that was down on the lower lot by Jurassic, I was thoroughly pissed. Like, what do you mean? I don't know why they just, I mean, I guess I do know why. It's another attraction. They're trying to, like, get people, yada, 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 blah, 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 whatever. But they put that little dinosaur enclosure thing down there, so we couldn't smoke down there no more. And I thought that was bullshit. I actually 100% did smoke joints and blunts behind Super Silly Funland multiple times. There was a couple times I had opening shifts with some like really cool homies, and we would like get the games and everything ready and still have plenty of time because it really did not take that long to set some shit up. And we would literally just like go behind, smoke up. I know there's cameras back there, but security never came for us, so it is what it is. I do know of somebody though who got fired because a guest tried to tip them with a blunt, and it either got caught on camera or somebody saw like the physical back and forth between that person and the guest, and so they got fired. That really sucks. But thanks for tuning in, y'all. It's been another fun little yap sesh. I hope you guys understand how much bullshit the inner workings of working at Universal is. And I didn't even fucking touch on the wardrobe department. Jesus Christ. Even the people who work in that department, absolute horseshit. There was one guy that like ended up getting into management, and anytime I went up there, he absolutely flirted with me. And I let it happen because I would take stuff home and he didn't say anything, and we were supposed to take home the powder stuff. But everybody who worked there was just rude. It's like the people that work in parking. Rude. Rude. Once again, I understand coming to work and it's bullshit and you don't want to be there, but like, be a fucking cunt for no reason. Jesus Christ, get a grip. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, y'all. It's been real, and it's been fun, and it has been real fun. I will catch you guys next time. We will see you on the flip.